I definitely do things. They're not always good things, but I do things. A GM.
Camera's rolling, Drew.
Oh shit! On that note, just faking that we didn't know we were recording. Oh shit! Actually, was it 2 episodes ago that you actually didn't realize we were in the midst of recording, and I did the intro, and you're like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah, that was me.
You know, it makes me so happy that as your GM, you pay so much attention to what's happening that you know exactly when we're starting. And with that, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And tonight, there is only Warhammer. Welcome to the Tainted Hive, the first season of our Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Maledictum podcast. I'm your GM, Brad, guiding our group. Got a little twang there. Our ragtag group tonight still includes Justin. He is still with us. Praise be the God Emperor. But we've also still got, as always, Alex, Mike, and Eric. Gentlemen, good evening.
You just cemented my destiny, as always. I'm holding you to that.
I mean, you're with you can be with us in spirit. Have you not heard the praise be of the ecclesiarchy as they go, Holy Spirit, activate?
Nope, that one missed me.
Well, do good in the service of the Emperor, and maybe they will saint you too.
Oh, gentlemen, you'll live.
Or throw you in a box.
That definitely does not mean you'll live. You might be in a box. Not a dreadnought, just a box. Gentlemen, happy Warhammer. Last time on the Tainted Hive, we opened with Mordecai having just fired a round that grazed past Roderick's head. Left a little wheal across the face there. And as you failed to shake off these claws that were in your brain, Mordecai, you were told to drop your, for lack of a better term, body cam, your pict recorder, and chase after Roderick as he tried to take cover in the crowd, but not before a blast charge was thrown at Roderick's feet by another member of this group that you guys were. I don't know that tussle is an aggressive enough word for what just happened, but as you were
kerfluffle.
It was a battle. There was two headshots and some blasts going off.
There's a lot of greatness. As this is happening, though, as Roderick has a blasting charge thrown at him first, a terrible fumble of a frag grenade that put it at the guy's own feet, Mordecai firing shots. As this is all happening, it is my distinct pleasure to note that Dimitri and Quentin got to experience the never-ending montage run through the lower level of the hive trying to get to a lift, but not before Dimitri was railroaded by Quentin into killing his charge to chase after Quentin and head to the lift.
Technically, I didn't kill him.
Technically, you didn't kill him.
All I did was collect my equipment.
You just removed the equipment that was keeping him alive.
Dimitri is Batman. I don't have to save you.
Quentin killed him. Dimitri just slowed it down a little bit.
The question I have here is Dimitri the college humor Batman where he thinks he doesn't kill people, but he's constantly killing people? I don't kill them. They just go to sleep. I'm such a good fighter.
No, he just has a propensity for not admitting to shit.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay, we got a reminder from the brand on your forehead. It's all good.
So as that all happened, Dimitri and Quentin, you got your never-ending run, and Quentin decided to purge yet again his warp charges while running down a street, launching 30 citizens of the Imperium into the air by 10 meters to come crashing down around him. And I think it was Alex, I think it was you who said, "It's raining men." Hallelujah, it's raining men. So a couple of burned fate points and, the permanent burning by Mordecai to shake the domination and to get that shot off on the guy who had been engaged with you all, who had thrown the blasting charge at Roderick. Very, very successful attacks there, but the guy was still standing and stumbling off. Roderick, you were arrested by the Vigilites as Petronilla came up to you, bloodied, smoking, and not looking your best.
Well, I'm choosing to look at this as witness protection at this point because of the beating I just took. So,
all right. So you're in WITSEC. Got it. But as they arrested you, Mordecai, you lost an hour of your life. You lost an hour of memory from the moment you stepped into the bar at the Edifice of Tears to standing in the Mudgate looking out at a ship that is taking off into space that you don't recognize. And as this all came to a head and comes to a conclusion, the ship departs. Roderick, you recognized it. Mordecai, you don't. But that ship departs off, leaving planet as Roderick, you are beginning to be hauled off to the Vigilite Bastion. Mordecai, you have slunk into the crowd. You might stink a little bit. I don't know. Maybe you sweat.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe
I stealthily let out a little squeaker as I'm going through as well.
He's from a feral world. I think we established early on in this campaign that he stinks.
Yeah.
You did. And I think we also established early on in this campaign that most of that odor was actually Dimitri's really
it was
black
Dimitri.
armor.
Yeah.
He's the real stinker.
I think Alex eloquently put it, I still have water to rub on my armpits. Jeez.
So as we open on tonight, Mordecai, you are slunk into the crowd, cloak on, gun hidden. You have acknowledged that you did fire your rifle, and what Roderick told you of shooting at him was true, because you felt that your silencer was warm. Dimitri and Quentin, we left as you two were finally ending your Monty Python montage, reaching the gate, the actual lift. And as you two step onto the lift to head to the Mudgate,
I would imagine Roderick's still like there. They're not moving him away yet.
They're slowly moving him away, but not quickly.
They would be very quick to just like chase after them and all of a sudden be like have to come back and.
Well, as a reminder, they left a guard with him, and the other three others plus Petronilla went running after that shit. That said, Dimitri, as you get onto the lift, a adjutant looks to you and asks for the 2 solar fee to take the gate vertically back to the Mudgate. Quentin, +7 still isn't good enough, so you're not noticed with your is it still +10 on the static charge?
Still
right?
+10.
Static charge? Static shroud.
Psychic stat.
Psychic
stat.
Static something. We knew it was there. What is your current warp charge is back to a 4, or are you back to a 6?
It is back to a 4.
All right.
Because of the gravity change.
Yep. I try to make sure I keep a note at the start of every episode what your warp charges are, because I need like an abacus or like a tracker, because your warp charges are going up and down faster than the stock market.
As it should be.
It means you're doing it right. Okay, so Dimitri, it's a 2 solar fee.
I'm not paying that.
Okay. As you,
I'm going to turn to this man, bloody forceps, and blood coating my front side, and just look at him. I'm here for the bombings. I imagine that shit could be heard, right?
You're a couple hive levels down, so not quite, but he looks to you and he goes, What bombings? And as he says this, I just rolled to see if they would have found out by now. His partner is hand on his ear, ribbing him and going, No, there's been 2 explosions up at the Mudgate. Let him through. Well played to use the bloody appearance to get on the lift for free.
Yeah.
You both step onto the gate. Drops. You begin your ascent. Mordecai. Roderick.
What?
Jumping to you. Roderick is being very slowly led out of the Mudgate towards one of the Macharian bastions. What this is it's a Vigilite bastion. It's a police station. Huge, armored plascrete and plasteel structure with heavy weapon emplacements, sandbags. It's somewhere the Macharian Vigilites go, and it's armored and armed to not be able to be assaulted by gangs. He's not moving quickly. Are you going to tail him, or what would you like to do?
I'm so confused. I have no memory of this place. Basically, Gandalf right now.
Remember, follow your nose.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and smoke on this pipe and stew about it for a minute. So
if you somehow manage to fit in it's this way, the air is fresher.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna stay in sight of him. I don't want to make myself known because, you know, I want to help Roderick out, but I'm not gonna incriminate myself here to do it. So also through, I'll just continue talking through the telepathic link. Like, how are we down here? Who did we fight? Why are they taking you?
Oh, don't worry about me. Petronella's here. She's a friend. I think they're taking me in, though. Are you sure you're all right?
Taking you in for what? We were at the bar. Why are we at the docks?
Mordecai, did you hit your head? We just got in a firefight with a big bloke with 2 chain axes, a couple of psychers. You shot 3 people? 2 people?
Quentin's gonna chime in and say, they might have fucked with his mind.
Ah, fuck. It's one of your lot, isn't it, Quinoa?
It sounds very likely that there was a psyker there.
Do you want me to lobotomize him?
Not yet. Maybe.
Then Quinoa, you need to help me. I need my memories. I like to have memories of every man I shoot.
I don't think I can ever help you get those back. They are probably gone.
I'm not happy about it, man. But
I can help you make new memories of people that you've shot. Do that.
Yes, we will do this together.
So, Mordecai, as this conversation is happening, Dimitri and Quentin, you are rising slowly through the sublevels. Same as you've seen in the past. As you rise higher, the air gets a little more acrid, a little more sooty, a little grosser, as the huge 100-meter wide fans are just whirring and pulling this pollution out of these levels. You pass through the meters, like tens of meters thick superstructure to get to the next level. You find yourselves at the mud gate about 15 minutes after you got on the lift. In that 15 minutes, Mordecai, you tail Roderick slowly. Roderick is not being tugged along quickly. Petronilla and the 3 guards had rushed towards the ship, and as it took off, they have slowly made their way back. They are obviously chatting with a lot of people in the process. So Roderick is
Did
moving.
we get a sense of which direction they went? I assume they passed that information along.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna assume that Mordecai is sharing with you, which they are heading from the mud gate. They're heading west.
Quentin's going to take off at a run that direction.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Okay. So,
and is Petronella with me actively, or is she doing other stuff?
So
then I'm not. I am clamming up for the most part. I'm going to give very small details about what just happened if asked directly, but I'm going to insist on talking to Petronella because we have a relationship.
Okay. So the guard who stayed with you and put the clamps on you has slowly been moving you towards the bastion. You're not quite there yet.
Okay.
You're moving at, obviously, based on the wounds you have suffered, a very slow pace, and he is not forcing you along at any speed.
Yep. I might even ham up the pace a little bit to make it even slower, honestly.
Give me a... Roderick, give me give me an intuition people test.
Okay.
Challenging +0.
93 of 55.
Yeah, he just seems like he's super nice. You're very, very adamantly sure that he's letting you have this slower pace because you are friends with Petronilla. He knows it. He's sure of it.
Okay.
So as he continues to get you closer and closer to the bastion, Quentin, Dimitri, you've come off the lift and beelined it. Are you beelining it for Roderick or Mordecai? Because Mordecai is
going straight to Roderick, and I'm going to get as close to him as possible.
Okay. Okay.
Hold up.
Yeah, maybe not Dimitri.
I did not know that's who you were beelining for. Whoops.
Yeah, I'm going straight to Roderick,
go towards
and I'm going
Mordecai.
to be his backup.
Yeah, Dimitri is going to make an L line.
Yeah. Straight up 90 degrees away from the cops.
Okay. Dimitri, I also need you to give me a stealth check, please. Mordecai, your stealth in the last episode was a positive 3 success levels, if I marked that correct.
Hey, Brad, when we got to the top of the lift here,
Yeah.
what was the vibe?
I'm glad you
Was there
asked.
still panic and pandemonium, or?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I was just about to describe that. So perfect timing. A lot of motion here quickly. So as you get to the top of the space, before you guys beeline it, as the gates are lifting, the air is thick with smoke. The explosives that went off kind of lit that. Not thick isn't the right word. Tastes of smoke. You have that hinting smell, that kind of taste of some kind of an explosive that went off. People are calming, but the panic is still there. You see as Vigilites are moving in force, there are multiple patrols going through the people. The gates that you step off, the guards are not relaxed at all. They are tense. They have stun batons out. The vast majority of people in the space have fled towards the gates and towards the interior of the hive to get away from where the explosion occurred. And as you step off, it's very easy to see where this happened because there is a bloody smear as well as another body where the blasting charge went off by Roderick. It would be the equivalent of 4 zones from you, but what that space looks like is essentially large amounts of milling people. It's about 45 meters to where that explosion happened. And in between here and there are all of the people milling about. The guard barricade rails that kind of force people into their checkpoints to check in and out of the hive. And then obviously the actual space of the docks.
Okay. Coming off of the lift and seeing that, I think what I would like to do first is come out of the gate and then kind of find just off to the side somewhere. I don't even have to stop to do this, but I'm gonna throw on those administratum robes.
Okay. Before
I start looking for goofball who doesn't know where he's at.
I'm going to prompt this question. Before you throw on the robes, are you cleaning yourself? Because you've mentioned a few times how bloody your hands are.
That's kind of why I was going to throw the robes on. But
to hide them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to like grab...
Honestly, I didn't think I could, besides from like wiping this shit off. I don't think I can really clean them.
No, you mostly have to wipe them off, so I just wasn't sure what you wanted to wipe them on, is kind of what I'm getting at.
I'm going to wipe them on me and then throw the robes over.
So you're doing one of these, wiping them on your chest and then throwing the robes over?
Yes.
Okay, done. Yeah, you can absolutely do that before you take off after Mordecai.
And I'm not too worried about the blood, because I'm impersonating a dude who would be bloody anyway.
Well, yeah, I meant more of like when you're grabbing your robes. I didn't assume you wanted bloody handprints on the exterior of the robes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, don't want that.
Okay, so yeah, so you wipe your hands off, throw the robes on, make your way over towards Mordecai. Give me that stealth check, please.
God, I'm all over the place. Actually, You said where was this blast with the folks?
When you step off of the lift, it would have been 45 meters straight ahead of you through the crowd and through the checkpoint.
And how many guards are there?
So at the lift, there are currently 2 guards. At the checkpoint, the guards are increasing. There, you see 4 guards at the checkpoint rather than 2, and the number of patrols of Vigilites is up heavily. There are about 15 Vigilites milling through the crowd at this point that you can see off the top of your head.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'll go try and look for Mordecai.
Okay.
Play a little Marco Polo with him.
Give me that stealth check then, because he is stealthing.
Oh, that is not a success. What's the difficulty?
Challenging +0.
That's 2 failures.
Okay, noted. We will get to you in a minute. Quentin, you are at Roderick's elbow-ish, just outside of range of being contacted by the guard that is walking with him.
I'm going to just kind of out loud to Roderick, not in the psychic link, say, "How are you doing?" But answer quietly.
Well, so far, so good. Obviously, we've dealt with Petronella before. I'm hoping she will be equally as benevolent as she was before. I've got it on good authority that she cannot be bought by the gangs here, so I will only be speaking to her if I can manage it.
So does that mean you don't want me to get you out of here?
Well, if you can make it look like I wasn't purposely escaping, certainly get me out.
Nope, I can't.
Well, I'd rather stay on her good side, frankly.
All right. Then Quentin's just going to quietly get a little quiet and just kind of like drift back a little bit.
But
he's
hey,
gonna still
if I need
keep
you,
following Roderick.
I'll just call out, go loud for unicorns, okay?
Quentin's just going to look confused and be like, okay. But
No,
he's
not a good
just gonna
code
stand
word.
about, he's going to stand about 5 feet behind Roderick and just keep following him.
Okay, so here's how I'm seeing this in my head. We've got Roderick being led by the one guard slowly. Quentin 5 feet behind that. An additional 15 feet behind that would be Mordecai. And Mordecai, as you're watching this happen, Dimitri comes up next to you in administratum robes. Hands are visibly coated in like that brownish, reddish, maroonish dried blood.
And he sees me, stealthing.
Well, I guess I should have asked you. Would you have told Dimitri where you were? Because he was
I'd
okay.
tell
Then yeah,
him.
then yes, he sees you.
Also,
stealthing.
would you guys be
He
that
wouldn't have
close, or would
found
you guys
me if I
be
hadn't.
farther away? I would imagine you
I'd-
guys be farther away than
I'd be far.
15,
I'd be
20.
far enough back, yeah, because I mean, it's not like
I
it's not
don't
like
need
I'm
to
on
be
the other side
next
of
to
these
you.
guards.
Okay, so how far back do you want to be? 20 feet, 30 feet?
Mutually supporting firing positions. So, however far
Yeah.
that is.
I mean,
Okay.
walking through the crowd, I'd say I'd be at least 40 feet back. There's no
Okay.
reason to be closer than that.
Okay.
If you want me to get up there,
I do not think there is any need. What are we going to do at this point?
I'd also say on this, Quentin would say in the static link that, like, or the telepathic link that you guys can drop back some. I'll be here with Roderick as backup.
I also don't even know why they're taking him. I have no recollection of this place.
Dimitri, remind me, your robes, are they Adeptus Administratum robes or are they Adeptus Ministorum robes?
Administratum.
Okay. So then you have the administration robes, the clerical robes.
Yes, administratum robes, specifically the Officio Medicae.
Of the Officio Medicae. What I would like for you to do, please, is give me an awareness, perception, sound, or hearing if you have it, at a plus 20 routine.
Awareness, okay.
Yes,
There are
sir.
a lot of other words in there. Fuck me up.
Plus 20.
47 You said plus 20? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's a plus 1.
Plus 1. As you are making your way and kind of tailing Roderick 40 feet back, you hear a voice call out, healer. Medic. Sir. And you realize that someone's calling for you. It's coming off to your left shoulder a bit.
I slowly turn around with my best Professor. Yes.
You see as Petronilla and a couple of her Vigilites are walking towards you, having seen your robes. And Petronilla walks up and goes, Dimitri. I still don't know her voice. I should have figured out how to do her voice again. But she looks at you and she's just like, Dimitri, is that you? There she is. Now she's British.
Not a
Lovely
good day.
afternoon, right?
Can I help you?
It's Petronilla.
Do you require Medicae?
What? Obviously. She points over her shoulder at the bloodied mess and she goes, can you help us out with some of these folks who got hurt in the blast?
Yes, I am greatest surgeon. Who's what? How many people are we talking?
There's only a few. There's about 3 people hurt in the blast, and she kind of guides you back that way, taking you away from Mordecai and the group, saying, we've heard about some explosions. We got Roderick in for questioning. He's pretty banged up. Were you with him when this happened?
No, I heard the explosion from below and came up.
She utterly believes you as you say that, and it's like, oh yeah, you must have been pretty close then. This blast shouldn't have carried through the hive that well. But all we know so far is there was an explosion. Somebody threw some kind of an explosive device. We tried to chase them, but they took off. I got the Navy up above trying to find them when they get into orbit. Can you help these folks here? And you see as there's a couple people trying to care for the citizen who was in the space with Roderick that managed to dive out of the way of the blast. But
that's right, one survived.
And as you look, they are mangling this. Like they're trying to tourniquet in the wrong spots. They don't know what the hell they're doing. She just goes, I grab
the nearest one by the face and just muff them into the ditch, and I wade in and start working.
Okay.
I do not burn a fucking part of my kit though for this plebe.
No, you don't need a chirurgian's kit for this. What I would like you to do, though, is we're going to take a heal test just to see if you're able to stop this person from actively dying. So as you walk up, you grab the one by the face, throw him away, push him out of the way. And what you find is that they were actively trying to stop this person from bleeding out. So they do have a bit of a bleed going on, but it's not a critical wound. So they're just hurt. These people were like tourniqueting the upper thigh for a cut in the calf. And as you look at this person, they are very wounded. They are not actively dying at this time. And what I'd like for you to do is give me a heal test, please, to see. Actually, let's start with this. Just give me a Medicaid check to see if you can assess how hurt they are and what's needed to patch them up.
Okay.
And if you have any specialization in people or human, use that.
Mm-hmm. That is a 2 success levels.
Okay. So you walk up, you grab the one by the face, shove him out of the way. You look down, you realize that they've tourniqueted the thigh for a gash on the calf that the tourniquet's not going to do anything but cut the blood flow off to the leg. So you rip the tourniquet off. And as you look at this person, you realize they're going to live. They're not in great shape. If you had left them in the care of these other people, the other people would have likely killed him trying to help him. But the gentleman that you are working on has minor cuts and lacerations across the body from the explosion, a little bit of a burn on the lower left calf, and a gash on his right leg. Beyond that, you don't see any physical signs of extensive bleeding, broken bones, anything like that.
Okay. Do I see which guy tourniqueted or was like actually trying to save this dude's life?
The one you grabbed him by the face and shoved him was the one trying to tie the tourniquet.
All right. Well, you will live, and I move on to. Are there any others, or just the one?
No, the blast heavily hurt Roderick, heavily hurt this person, and flattened another civilian into a red bloody pulp. And as you look for other survivors, you see that there is literally just like a smeared outline of a body where the blast kind of.
Okay.
Okay. So you look at this person, say you're going to live, and they go, yeah, okay, sure as hell doesn't feel like it. Got any pain pills or anything for that?
Yes. Old trick from father. And I'm going to break his pinky, Major Pain style.
You want me to take your mind off that pain?
So you're intentionally going to break his bone, yes?
No, I'm just just crank on his joint.
Just dislocate it?
Sure.
Okay. What's your talent that allows you to basically assess someone and do that?
Medicaid? I have a scanner for diseases and shit, but
no, do you have the actual talent? There's a talent that allows you to do this.
I have chirurgian. is the talent I have.
Okay, I don't think so. I don't
actually,
think you have that.
no, fuck you. I do have the talent. It's called
you?
distracting, bitch. And that's how I'm doing it.
So there. All right. So hang on. There's
Give it
an
a
actual
disadvantage on
Yeah,
feeling.
I know
pain.
what you're I think you're thinking about either Field Medicaid or Medicaid Maverick, and I don't have either of those.
Okay, yeah, it's Medicaid Maverick, which allows you the
I think I'm actually doing the opposite of Medicaid
Medicaid
Maverick
Maverick
right now.
allows you to heal these wounds. There's a we'll look at it later. There's a talent that allows you to actually actively use your skills to break bones and cause problems. But for now, we'll say,
No, I think that's called like Bone Breaker.
maybe it's literally that easily named.
Yeah.
All right, so you
But
you
it's
go
a
up and you go,
pinky.
I got this, and you grab his pinky and you just crank on it,
Yep.
and you go ahead and just roll me a Medicaid check. Let's just see if you manage to fully dislocate it.
I definitely do.
So you tell him, I have a trick for the pain, and you grab his pinky and you just crank it out to the side, and it dislocates perfectly at the tip of his hand. Is slightly out of the side of his hand, and I know exactly what this looks like because I watched somebody do this in football. His finger is now lined up wrong, where like the bone of the lower piece of his tarsal is alongside his hand, alongside the actual bone of his hand. So his finger is
Ouch.
now out of position and down, and I'm going to make an endurance test at disadvantage. That's an 81. He immediately passes out from the pain.
Well, I would call that a success.
See? Problem solved.
All right. So, Dimitri, you have ceased this individual's pain. Do you make your way back to the group?
I do.
Okay. Roderick, at this
I'd
point...
like to say that at this point, Quentin is actively scanning the perimeter, keeping an eye out for the psyker
Okay.
in case they pop up somewhere.
Go ahead and give me an awareness any check. Let's see.
Ooh, that's good. That is going to be a +5 because I rolled a 6.
Okay, so +5. All right, so you're watching for any sign of the psyker. At this point, you don't see anything. Roderick, you are approaching this Vigilite bastion. And as you get closer...
Can I get a little bit of this guy who's walking with me? He's young, right?
Yep, looks young, yep.
As I'm talking to him, I would just like to be kind of trying to discern if I get the sense that he's in anyone's pocket, and I'll make even like leading questions about it, like, so who you play for, or how's your income in this job? I know it can't be glorious or anything. I've heard there's ways to bolster that, so to speak, as I've been on planet a while. Shit like that.
Yeah,
If I get any sense.
he doesn't seem to bite. So as he chats with you, he's just like, you hear him share that like the wages suck. They always do. The hours are what they are. As you attempt to pry further and hear if there's other things that could be impacting him or other players that could have a role, he doesn't necessarily open up in any shape, way, or form to share any of that. He kind of deflects the questions a bit, and just keeps referring to, working for Petronilla and making sure that he is the best Vigilite he can be.
Okay. Dealmaker talent, I have it. But
Yep.
I already did an intuition people test against this guy. Am I using that same role for a dealmaker to try and discern if there's anything that he would take as a bribe, basically?
No, you're going to roll new because that intuition people check was to see if you could discern how he was treating you upon arresting you.
Okay. It's not great. It's an 81 out of 55, so -3.
Yeah, you don't really get any. He's being very cagey, so you're not getting a lot of good takes on what would work.
That's fair. All right.
All right. So as you approach, this bastion is it's nowhere near as large as a manufactorum, but it's a large, imposing building. It is at the edge of the mud gate, and you can see that this is the bastion, that the place that homes this this portion of the Vigilites so they can keep the peace at the Mudgate. The bastion itself is surrounded by 15 meter high walls that are topped in razor wire. The gates are currently open, but you see that they are double thick steel gates as you are marched through the gate slowly. There are multiple guards on either side, and these guards are not armed with stun batons. They have auto guns, solid state projectile weapons in their hands as you enter the bastion itself. The rockcrete or the concrete and steel walls that you see are a dirty, dingy kind of grayish white, stained with smears and like streams of brown where the razor wire may have rusted and run down the outside of it. It's not the cleanest looking facility. It's not the nicest looking part of a hive. But walking in, you see over a dozen Vigilites in sight, all getting ready to head out into the Mudgate to help keep the peace after what's happened. And the guy leading you in says, "Right, so Petronilla's going to be back shortly. We're going to have you just put into a basic holding cell for a bit until she can get here. Hope that's all right."
I would really prefer not to be, but...
Quentin's going to continue to follow him inside the building.
Okay. Quentin, as you, Dimitri and Mordecai, as they enter the gates, are you following through the gates? Or are you going to sit outside? What would you like to do?
I think we'll hang back, right?
What's up, Alex? I can't hear you.
Did you mute yourself?
Oh, you know when you push that button on your microphone? So, as I'm looking at these gates, sorry, I know you just described, but is this is this a building, or is it more of like okay, so I can't see once they go in?
It's a fortress. This is literally a police-style precinct.
For whatever reason,
walls.
when you were saying it, I envisioned it more as like a...
I think the description was, I think it's a building with kind of like a perimeter wall around it.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So that's why you're probably getting the fenced-in
It's a
feel.
multi-tier. It's a multi-tier building, but it has a concrete exterior wall that is not. It's not chain link. Like you're not going to see through it.
I have no reason to follow him in because what am I going to do in there? So, I'll hang out outside the gates and through the telepathic link. Roderick, you keep us informed. What's going on?
Yeah, if this dude insists on putting me in a cell, I'm just going to kind of, before I actually go in the cell, I'm going to hit him with the Gothic jibs.
He's not getting you to the cell just yet. He's taking you into the building. So, Quentin, so you are aware. I know that you're trying not to touch anybody. As the doors open into the bastion itself, there are dozens of people in these small spaces. It's going to be very hard not to jostle someone, just to make you aware.
That's fine. As we're going in, I'm going to try to find some kind of place where if someone left a hat or a jacket or something that kind of looks like any kind of part of their uniform, I'm going to grab it and try to put it on.
Okay. So as the door opens, as you guys see this, there's two double doors. They swing open to let you in. And what is happening is you're walking into the Vigilite Bastion. Above the door, you see 108-D. As you step into the Bastion, the first chamber that you see is the processing chamber. You have to get through processing to ever get further in. And as you step in, there are dozens of people, all in cuffs, most of whom have, if not one, two Vigilites near them. And you're watching as this large, intimidating Vigilite is just barking orders in a deep, booming voice. He's broad, he is tall, he has like some scarring on his face, and a good chunk of his jaw, actually the whole jaw, is an augmetic. He also has a bristling, slightly curled mustache, but no other facial hair. And he's got a bit of a tanner skin, a little bit strange for a hive. And his yelling is just going loud. You see as an entire line of people are being corralled together and like struck with batons to get in a line. Roderick, Quentin, I'd like you both to give me a Give me a logic test, please.
And I'd also like to point out, if I'm recognizing Quentin following me in here, I'll try and saunter side to side a little bit and just kind of like make a little bit wider space for him to be moving. Just to kind of block if I see somebody drifting his direction, I'll like stumble or stop for a second and cough or whatever it is. What test am I making?
Logic.
+0? Or you're saying a challenging test?
Yes.
So it's +2 then for my success levels.
+2 for you.
-3.
Okay, Roderick, despite being a hiver, you're so focused on making sure Quentin is safe and not touched. You're not processing what's happening. Quentin, what you're seeing is reminiscent of the lines of psychically touched individuals being escorted onto a black ship. You recognize that the lineup of people, bedraggled, frustrated, some are almost crying, but they're all tough. They look like gangers, quite frankly. You recognize that this line of people is what you've seen in the past of people being forced into a ship for the black ships. It's obviously not that, but it has the same feel. What I'd like for you, Quentin, because you recognize this, is I'd like for you to give me a lore check. And if you have... Do you have any specializations in lore?
Only Forbidden Psyker.
Nope, just give me a lore check then. Challenging +0.
-1.
You're not sure why they're lined up like this. It's just very reminiscent of what you've seen in the past.
I'll just make note of it and just kind of like mutter under the psychic link, kind of low-key, like, hey, I've noticed this. This seems weird.
Okay. Roderick, if as he mutters this under the psychic link and you recognize it, Roderick and Dimitri, you're both hivers. Give me a lore check. Challenging +0.
It's 11 out of 26, so +1.
Okay.
+1.
You both remember from growing up in hives that when the Vigilites or the local PDF, any kind of a group, corral gangers, hive, like folks who look like they've been in trouble, into a line like that. As Quentin calls attention to it, and Roderick, you see it, you share with Dimitri what you're seeing as well. This is a line of people who have been charged with crimes who are heading off to be turned into servitors.
Oh, shit.
So they will be taken to an on-site Mechanicus facility to be lobotomized and turned into a servitor.
Jeez.
Well,
so as you see this...
Welcome to the grim dark future, so to speak.
As you see this, there are 24 people who are corralled into line and escorted out of the bastion as you two step in. The guard who is with you looks at them and goes, huh. Ow. Not the worst haul I guess we've seen. Mechanicus will be happy. All right, with me. And Roderick, he guides you a little closer. The massive man that you see, he looks to you and he's helping with all the processing. He looks down. He appears to have like a very battered set of armor on. And he looks down to you and he goes, all right. Name? He's looking right at you, Roderick.
Just to clarify, I'm not in the lines going to become servitor, right?
No.
Okay,
That was
good.
That line was on the other side of the building
Just
leaving.
making sure.
Yeah, that line was on the other side of the building leaving. You are in a line for processing.
All right. Name's Roderick Wrangler. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, right. Purpose in the Mudgate, Mr. Roderick Wrangler.
Minding me own business, honestly.
No one
up.
ends up in my doors minding their own business, even if they've been blown up.
I don't know. There was quite a big explosion. I don't know how I rightly would have avoided it.
He looks at the guard, and the guard nods and says, he's telling you the truth. Right, fine. What brings you to Rokarth, then, Mr. Wrangler, that you found yourself in unfortunate circumstances?
I really don't remember. Do we have like a story that we're going with for why we're here?
We do not.
All right.
You guys never made one.
Well, I am here sowing my oats, so to speak, from the novice nobility. Taking a little bit of a holiday. Thought I'd come by. Heard it was a nice place to cool my heels. I've been proven incorrect. Granted.
All right. Well, that's a bit of a conundrum. You see, we're still trying to figure out who threw the explosives to lead to this. And you happen to be the only one we know of.
Well, I did see the bloke. I'll speak to Petronilla when she's back. We have a relationship, as it were.
He kind of... Oh. Petronilla can speak to you then?
Absolutely. I'm fully willing to cooperate.
Gain +1 temporary influence with the Vigilites. He looks to you and he goes, right, what's the purpose? And the guard looks up and says, just putting him in a cell till Petronilla can come talk to him. Right, do we have any reason to put him in a cell? Is he actually a suspect? Not quite, just the only one we know. Petronilla said they helped her catch, who was that trafficker? Aragon, earlier today. Oh, right. That bitch got out. How the hell did he get out anyway? All right, well, if you're here to talk to Petronilla...
I look very confused, like, actively I'm going to look at them like, wait, that bloke got out? He was peddling drugs. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do know that. He should have been, and he motions towards the line. He said, should have been going off to the Mechanicus himself to be turned into a servitor.
I could not agree more.
Well, I tell you what. Tuck him into my office, lose the cuffs, maybe give him a cup of recaf, wait for Petronilla.
Oh, you are a gentleman. Thank you. And I'll hold up my cuffed arms, Jack Sparrow style, and kind of give him a little roguish bow.
He doesn't like that.
Why not?
He smirks and then immediately puts the scowl back on. He goes, all right. Can't let anyone know I'm a softie. Get out of here. The guy that's with you will take off your cuffs. He tucks you back into an office, gets you a cup of recaf.
Quentin's going to post up in the corner, opposite of, if he's going to be sitting at a desk or something, whatever the other person might sit opposite of them, he's going to be standing behind that.
Okay. So you make your way. The office itself it's not massive. It's a very small, almost Spartan-esque space. There's a single desk, a couple chairs. Roderick, you are kind of sat in a chair in the corner looking into the room. Quentin, you could make your way onto the side of the desk where obviously this gentleman would have sat. And as the guard walks away, he looks to you, Roderick, and he goes, Lysanda doesn't normally like anyone. Not bad. If you need something, Petronilla should be here in a few minutes. And the guard steps out.
Grazie.
Buongiorno.
I'd like to point out that Quentin is very much standing in the corner as like far back into it and like trying to mold into it as possible to be out of the way.
Sure.
But very much wanting to be in between or on the opposite side of where Roderick will be.
Sure. Dimitri, Mordecai, as you two have stopped well outside of the bastion, as you're kind of just milling about and waiting, a familiar voice comes up. Sir?
Oh, I was going to say I'm considering shooting Citronella, but no, I'm just kidding.
So ironically, the voice you hear is so now her name is Citronella, huh?
Yeah.
Petronilla comes up to you and kind of motions to you both and says, gotta go speak to Roderick. Why don't you two come with? Wouldn't be bad to talk to you two either.
I can go into the facility without the need for cuffs, correct? I don't even know what's happening down here.
No cuffs. Just trying to get some answers, figure a few things out. You three seem to constantly be at the pain of my neck today, but you've been very helpful so far. So
I do apologize for that. I only want to help you and your fantastic team. I would be happy to oblige.
Like spittle coming out.
She is technically your superior. You will gain advantage on every social test moving forward.
Thanks, love.
She escorts you and Dimitri in, and as you two are walking in through the gates, you're seeing as these the same 24 people have been escorted out. They are being put onto a shuttle, not a space shuttle, like a vehicular wheeled shuttle. And on the side of it is the branded symbol of the Mechanicus. So it's that skull with the cog. And as you two are kind of walking through the gates, the doors of that slam shut, and you hear the rap of someone tapping on the back of the vehicle, and it takes off down one of the thoroughfares in the mud gate. Again, the mud gate is big enough that there are heavy tractors like this, heavy vehicles like this that move through the gate. You're led into the bastion. You see the same thing. Huge open space where there are dozens more people being processed. And as you watch, you see as a few other individuals are being brought out of a long hallway that's dark and seems to be at a quick glance filled with cells, brought in for additional processing. Petronilla walks in with the two of you, looks up. The man that neither of you know is named Lysander, but Lysander looks and goes, "You got one in my office. Roguish bloke. Almost made me smile." And Petronilla just goes, "He almost made you smile. And they say the God Emperor doesn't do daily miracles." She walks you back into the office. As you two walk in with her, she looks Roderick and goes, "All right." Walks over to the desk, turns, sits on the desk. Dimitri, Mordecai motions you both in and says, "Shut the door so you can hear me." And as the door clicks shut, she pulls off her helm. "Why are you three always involved in the things of my day today?"
I know I promised that you wouldn't see us again.
You did.
But obviously I was incorrect, so I apologize first and foremost. I'm going to refrain from beating around too many bushes here. What is your current understanding of what has happened?
My current understanding of what has happened is that there were two explosions in the mud gate approximately 45 minutes ago at this point. 2 casualties and 1 heavily wounded, besides yourself. A few reports of gunfire. Now, I know at least 2 of the shots came from you.
Correct. You
as
would
well
be a little
as
pissed as well if somebody threw a blasting cap at your feet.
I'm not exactly happy that you fired in the gate, but I understand. There's also reports of a solid slug weapon having been used, but we can't really locate where those came from. Additionally, in and around that, there have been reports today of psychic phenomena. One of our gratis informants has been, our gratis collectors, Aragon, that you brought me earlier, was let go and released or escaped. I'm not really sure.
Sure.
And once again, I circle back to the 3 of you.
Yes. Well, I think I can give you a little bit more light on that. Has this room been checked for listening devices recently?
She kind of laughs a bit and she goes, "You're inside the Vigilant Bastion. Every room has listening devices."
Then I suggest we go somewhere without them.
Make a, gosh, is this going to be, it's probably going to be charm. Yeah.
Can I assist with this?
Sure. How would you like to?
I would like to lick spittle her by saying,
The way that sounds is just...
"Oh yeah, I want it to sound just how you heard it."
Oh boy, God.
With respect, miss, you are the only person on this planet that we can trust, and I know you will keep the information.
Yes, agreed. It's this other lot I don't trust, and I have good reason to.
All right. With the lick spittle, roll a charm. Mordecai, you're going to roll the charm because you're the lick spittle at advantage, and you will get +10.
Just straight up charm.
Actually, we'll call it. We'll legitimately at this point call it a routine +20. So it's
a
going to be
rapport.
It's rapport fellowship.
Okay,
yep.
okay.
It's a rapport charm if you have it.
Plus
I'm going to
20
say, while this is going on, Quentin is drawing his knife.
at
okay.
advantage makes it a 35.
And it's a +20 test.
Plus 20, so plus 2.
Okay, +2 success levels.
Is she
Petronilla,
having a roll against that?
no. It was just.
It's not? Okay.
I was testing your success on this one.
Okay.
And he has his lick spittle thing from earlier. Is that what gave him advantage?
Yep.
Does he benefit from my influence with the Vigilites right now of a +1?
That was that's how I made it a +20. I was going to give you +10 for assisting, and then I had factored in your influence.
Got it. Cool.
No, actually, Mike, you're right. She should roll against that.
So she's going to do that at disadvantage because I'm going to, as y'all are schmoozing her, I'm going to walk over. The fuck happened to you? And I'm going to start working on Roderick's legs, and I would like to attempt a routine Medicaid test to treat his wounds.
Yeah, go for it.
In an obnoxious way, though.
Just obnoxiously rendering aid.
Yes.
just like
So-
tutting under your breath like an old nursemaid.
So that's 5. That's 6. You said it. Oh, it'd be +20. So
Yeah,
that
you have
is
a routine
7
+20.
success levels.
Nice.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
I rolled.
Hey,
a
you
5.
get that shrapnel out of there.
Yeah, your leg is
So-
perfect now.
You're going to heal wounds equal to the 7 success levels plus Dimitri's intelligence bonus.
Which
How many is that?
You might be fully healed at the end of this.
I only took 7 wounds in the first
So
phase,
your,
so.
your intelligence
That's
bonus
not-
is the 10's value.
Oh.
I'm fully healed regardless, so-
5, yeah.
No, your
Of
intelligence. on
intelligence.
your-
What's
Oh,
your
oh, th-
what's
Oh, my intelligence
what's the score?
bonus.
So what's your intelligence score?
38. Sorry.
So your intelligence
So
bonus is
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is. I don't feel well, all right? Damn it.
I know. You're good. You're medicating everybody but yourself right now.
Yeah.
All right. So Roderick, you're going to heal 10 wounds. That should
Sweet.
put you back to full.
Oh, yeah.
So as you're saying this and you're distracting her, her eyes narrow and she looks at you all and she goes, all right, then. She walks over to the desk, reaches under the desk, under the where you would sit. You hear a button click, and there's a small hum through the room. All right. Listening devices are off. Refractor field is up. We have about as much privacy as you're going to get on Rokarth. What is so important?
At this point, Quentin's going to step up and put his hand on her shoulder.
Oh, shit.
Just, yeah. And I'll
Roderick,
hold up hands like this and just be like, we mean all the best things in the world for you. We have heard good information that you cannot be bought, and we do not want to buy you.
So Roderick, Mordecai, and Dimitri, you see as Quentin lays a hand on her, and her eyes double in size as she pauses and she goes, you know, it's not a great look to ask me to silence a room and have someone behind me like this.
I lean down and whisper, say, I do this because I can trust you.
Yeah,
And I remove my hand from her shoulder.
it's Quinoa. It's his name, right? I never remember, but he's a good bloke.
Quentin, you see as she's looking at you out of the corner of her eye and she's going, you might trust me, but I don't trust you. Get out from behind me.
I'm standing where I'm standing.
To be fair, I wouldn't trust us either if I were you, but you will soon enough, I think.
So Quentin, you're not moving.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so
I'm standing just to her right side, because I use my left hand.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of putting my hand crossing my arms and just kind of standing there. I'm basically far enough forward that she can see me out of the corner of her eyes, but I'm not moving from that spot.
Okay, so she takes a step to her left and turns her back a bit, so you are all in front of her arc at this point, and she can see you all.
That's fine.
And she
I'm not
goes,
still moving.
yeah, no, it makes sense, but you gotta understand, she's a little creeped out right
Yep.
now. She looks at you all and she goes, fine. Talk.
All right. Point 1, Aragon. We
Sure.
handed him to you, and now he's gone. Any idea how that happened?
No, I'm still trying to figure that out. Pissed
Well,
off
I can
about myself.
inform you right now. Someone paid 4,000 solars to have him released. Someone in this building is corrupt. Was paid off by one Rigel. Any idea who that is?
Everyone knows who Regel the Red is.
Yes, seems that way. And yet he flies under the radar. Everyone steers clear of his bar. How is that?
Regel doesn't own a bar. Which bar are you speaking of?
But his competition owns a bar where they all hang out.
You were down at the edifice.
Indeed.
Yeah, we have no jurisdiction for about 2 blocks in every direction from there.
How's that? The Vigilites don't have jurisdiction in a place within the hive.
There are folks above me who tell me where I can and can't go. Let's put
Which
it that
is
way.
why I don't want them listening in, quite frankly.
Okay.
All right. Little bit of trust growing, yeah?
We're getting there.
Sure. Now, what's the biggest problem on this here hive?
Real quick, before you continue asking through the psychic link, I'm gonna ask you. Ask her about Ragu, about all the outstanding warrants. Basically, try and get a sense for how big of a pain in the ass he has been. A big thorn in her side.
Okay.
We should probably drop that we murdered him also if it's beneficial.
I was getting there.
But I wasn't going to blurt it out. I had a really good one, and I was like, I don't want to
I'm
fuck
trying
it
to
up.
not implicate us before she trusts us.
Yeah, that's...
Quentin was this close to laughing and saying he's been dealt with, but I held it back.
I was going to say not red anymore, but...
Maybe redder.
He's lots of red.
Drained him.
Okay, so the last question you just asked her was what again?
What's the biggest problem here on this here hive?
That's right.
If she could get rid of one thing, what would it be?
She pauses and she thinks and she goes, I guess at this point it is probably gratis.
Yes. And any guesses as to what we are here to get rid of?
Her eyes narrow and she goes, there is no way this is this convenient for me that you are here for the very problem I deal with on a daily basis.
I don't consider it convenience. I consider it providential. The God Emperor's business, if you will.
Right. So I'm supposed to trust that you are here, miraculously capture and hand over the man who is dealing gratis in the Mudgate, who then escapes, and you know he escaped because someone paid one of my men, or one of the Vigilites, 4,000 solars to let him out, all of which is tied to Regel and the scarred hands down at the edifice.
Mostly Regel. But yes, he is not the source of your problem, however.
He's not.
But he is the dealer.
All right.
Now, the scarred hands are interested in getting their hands on Regel's source. They offered me quite a bit of money for it, actually. I didn't tell them no, just so that I could come and confer with you, and frankly, I don't really care about the money.
What do the 4 of you care about? Because this is one of the most interestingly, oddly altruistic things I have ever heard in my life on Rokarth.
Oh, don't get it twisted. Nothing altruistic about it. Everybody's got a boss. Ours just happens to want to get rid of Gratis.
What do you need?
One, someone we can trust in this here building.
All right.
Sounds like you might be the onlyest one. Oh, and maybe a flamer.
She laughs at that and she goes, do you think I have access to flamers? That's cute.
Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
It doesn't hurt to ask. Yes, you are correct that I'm probably one of the only people here you could trust. Weirdly enough, ironic how the fates have turned that we have lined as such. We know that Regel is the problem. We have been watching him and dealing with him. Here's the hurdle to Regel. He's very good at letting the blame fall on others. You can never seem to pin it down to him.
So you've never actually charged him?
On that point.
On that point.
I seem to have pinned it through him, actually.
Quentin just kind of chortles at this.
God damn it.
Barely able to contain his laughter from this.
She looks at you and she goes, You pinned it through it.
He is dead.
I've put that together.
Along with most of his gang falling apart. But like I said, he is not your source.
Right. And you know who the source is.
We do.
You know where the source is.
We
Quentin's
do.
going to start in the psychic telepathic link, feeding the information to Roderick that he got from Regu.
How much do you tell her at this point?
I tell her that we know. And that we know where. And that we intend to put an end to it. That's how much I need her to know. I also need her to know that we need her to run interference for us. And I don't think that we can trust most of the other Vigilites.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell her exactly where it is. I'm not going to tell her exactly who it is yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my safety cards.
Now, do you mention, I guess I should ask, do you know anything, or do you ask or hint anything at that where this is, do you tell her anything of where the source is coming from, location-wise?
I tell her I know where it is, and I tell her I know who it is.
Okay.
And
As
that
you
we
tell her
intend to
that,
deal with it.
She looks at you and she goes, you know where it is, you know who it is. Tell me this, Roderick. Where is this coming from? Is it coming from off-world, or is it coming from down deep?
I am disinclined to acquiesce to that answer.
Right. Well, you may wish to acquiesce to this answer, because if it's coming from deep within the hive, I know how to get you there. And I know how to get you there without you paying through your nose. Because if this is coming from where I suspect it's coming from, we don't like people who go down, and we sure as hell don't like when they come back. I'll ask you once, is this in the bowels?
I will answer your question if we have an accord and we get an escort out of here. I don't really like the idea of failing my mission because I was locked up by the very people I'm trying to help.
You're fine on that front.
I reach out my hand.
Oh, she'll shake it.
Do I get any vibes that she's being dishonest in any way?
Roll me an intuition check.
As I'm
now your hand is permanently purple.
That is a +0 intuition.
No, she's being completely truthful.
Okay. All right. It is deep, as it were.
All right. We have...
As with all poisons, we must go deep to suck it out.
Ugh. That's a disgusting reference, but understood. We're going to get you access to the Macharian Vigilites at a private maglift to go down to the bowels. Without that, there are normally ways to get down there. It's not easy. We don't like when people go down, and we sure as hell don't like when they come back, because they bring these things with them. In addition to that, it's not even just the drugs, it's the weapons, it's the diseases. You are going to the dirtiest and most dangerous part of the hive to track this out, to root this out.
Well, if you have any equipment that would be helpful in a dirty, disgusting, awful place like that, I'd be willing to buy it off you.
We do not have access to that. There's a reason we don't like to go down there. But we do have a maglift that can get you there.
Do you know where I might have access to
room.
it? Right, evidence room too.
We do have an evidence room, and you need a place to buy things. There's plenty of shops here in the hive that can get you there. It just depends on what you're looking for. It's not like, I will say this, you're not heading down into noxious fumes that will kill you when you breathe them. Just, people tend to be a lot less hygienic.
Got it. Gonna need some more Warder's Originals.
I need a 36-pack of Irish Spring.
She looks to each of you and she says, now, I'm going to get you out of here. And if you have the person, if you have the source, I can take you directly to the maglyphs to get you down to the bowels.
I have them. And I'll tell you who it is before we go, but we are going.
If you need time before we take you to the maglyph, tell me now. And she looks at a chrono on her wrist and she goes, I'm on shift for another 2 hours. As long as I'm on shift, I can get you onto the maglyph. Once I'm off, I don't even have access to it.
All right. I might need time to know if I have time. I look around at the group. Do you guys feel like we need to go shopping for anything?
I'm tempted to just go down.
Yeah, is there anything that I can buy for 6 solars? I'd like to go on a little shopping trip.
Dimitri, I know you're looking for a flamer. Is there anything else you need? Because I will tell you,
No.
you're a hiver. You know that buying a flamer, it's going to be hard.
I mean, knowing that there's not going to be noxious fumes down there makes me feel better, but...
She didn't say there wouldn't be any noxious fumes. It's just not going to be immediate.
I might want to buy a rebreather or a gas mask or something then. So
Okay.
I guess that's a good point.
Wait,
I mean,
we're in a cop shop. She can't hook us up with some
doesn't
gas
seem like
masks?
She doesn't. They don't have rebreathers. She flat out said they don't have the gear to go down there, so they don't go.
Oh, I thought she was referring to the weapons. Okay.
No, like they don't. The Vigilites don't go into the bowels.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
So I'll just let her know we might need a little time to collect a few pieces of equipment to go down. This was a little spur of the moment. But before we do that, I also want to inform her who was making the explosions happen in the hangar area. And I would like to describe that big dude, because I saw that skull on him, right? So
Yeah.
I'll explain that to her and like what kind of armor he was wearing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not really sure who they were specifically, but they were up to no
Ooh,
good.
psychic link here. We should also drop a dime on Eustabius.
Oh, yeah,
What-
for sure.
One quick,
Except I want to go
Okay.
kill him quick in our downtime.
one quick
Okay,
point,
don't
and I
say
apologize
less.
if I'm outside of character here, but I did describe the scene to you guys telepathically. So my memory is wiped, but I did tell you what they were doing when I shot her. When I shot that chick, so
I honestly, as a person, just don't remember specifically what they were doing, and I don't have it in my notes.
they were
so-
doing a blood ritual.
Oh, right.
yeah, they're doing some shady shit.
I'll
It
note
appeared to
that
be a
as
blood
well.
ritual, yeah.
Bleeding.
Okay. All right. So as you describe all of this, Roderick, as you describe what Mordecai had told you prior, what you had seen, and as you describe the individual who you shot at, Mordecai shot with the armor and the skull motif that kind of hurt your eyes to look at, as you're trying to really describe it to Petronilla, I need you to give me a
Oh, no.
challenging +0 discipline test.
Oh, no.
And as he's describing this, I get to make a memory of it now because I don't
Yeah.
have no recollection of this.
That's a 98. I don't know what this is specifically, but I have a feeling it's not great.
You gain 1 point of corruption.
I fucking knew it. What does corruption do in this game again?
It does exactly what it did in WFRP.
Yeah, you can mutate if you get enough of them.
Gross.
So we'll go over. Let's talk about corruption really quick. So with corruption, it's used to show the slow, like ever corroding weight on you of the corrupting influences of chaos. Very similar to WFRP4E, when you gain an amount of corruption that it's called succumbing to corruption, and essentially when you exceed an amount of corruption that you can take, which is based on your willpower bonus plus your toughness bonus, you then have to attempt either a fortitude or discipline test. My choice. And what happens is fortitude goes to mutations, discipline goes to malignancies, mental mutations. You, my friend, as you focus in and try to explain the skull motif of this armor, you gain a point of corruption. Now, with that, you all mention a need to go grab a little bit of equipment. Petronilla looks to each of you and says, all right, then, let's get this going. Shuts off the refractor field, leads you out of the office, and leads you out of the Vigilite Bastion. And when we come back in episode 17, she will get you to the lift to head to the bowels.
Dun, dun, dun.
Along that way, she will help you stop to grab whatever you needed to grab, so we can kind of speed through the shopping piece.
Road trip. Cool.
Yep. Cue the montage music. So, that brings us to the end of episode 16, and with that, we have to say, as always, thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to head on over to deadsonsco.com, our website, check it out. We've got the latest news, socials, and a few other projects in the works that we'll be sharing on there, as well as over on the Patreon. So if you like our content and you want to help support us in continuing to create this content, please consider heading over to patreon.com/deadsonscompany. And until then, and until next time, we're Dead Sons Company, and thank you so much for listening.